activists, look at all of our rescuers, look at all of these pioneers, these renegades, these lone rangers that are out there for change. So every time someone quits corporate America and goes opens a farm, the timeline changes. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it will all be together, because the thing is without money, you can't go to the grocery store, right? So food and putting gas in your car is all going to be affected by what's in your bank account, and if that no longer has value, then what is valuable? You. Because I can guarantee you, if you went to use your ATM card to get gas, and money just stopped existing, what would you do in the moment? And you went to take your cell phone, and there was no longer a signal. What would you do? You would have to find people. People, help me. And you're going to learn to love people very quickly when you need them again. Because our society has taught us that we don't need each other. Our society has taught us that we can go get our food and not talk to anyone, and drive back to our house and not talk to anyone. And I'm going to promise you, when you don't have electricity in your house, you're not going to want to be sitting in there. You're going to want to go out and, what's going on over here? Oh, there's a tree here. I never saw that before. You're going to fall back in love with nature, and you're going to fall back in love with people. So what I'm asking you right now is that if we can start living that way now, practicing, moving in the direction of that, when the shift happens, you will be on the threshold, you will be on the leading edge, and you will be in a leadership position to help a whole community around you. That's how important you are right now. Because there's a lot of people that aren't ready to hear this message, and those are the people who are going to be scared. So your isolation and your lack of action right now is the only thing holding you back. It's time to expand. It's time to grow. And when we do that, the timeline will change from 5 years to 2 years to months to hours to days. I do promise you, though, if you have a strong heart and you are in your heart, you won't be affected negatively by any of this. Reality will be reconstructed around you gracefully, without struggle, without pain, without lack, without need. You will know exactly what to do, where to go, how to feel, and how to help others in that situation. But it is coming. Because I promise you, as soon as the dollar is worth nothing, either is the oil and either is the food. And guess what else will be lost? Your beloved pharmaceuticals. What will you do without your antidepressants? You will go hug a tree. You will go hug someone. You will go heal your relationship with mama. Because you have no choice. So enjoy them while they last, because they will go too. And I promise you that there's herbs on this planet that can make you feel better than are legal, than any antidepressant out there. In 1935, cannabis was the #1 ingredient in all of medicine. 1935. Not that long ago, is it? We will be returning to that. Because cannabis lowers resistance. And it lowers your ability to care. And when you don't care, you don't get uptight and kill your bodies with stress. So does anybody else have any questions? Anything about the forecast? Yes?
Do you want to talk at all about the educational system?
Yes. I would love to. So, education and gender is what's moving the fastest right now on the timeline as far as the shift. We love our transgender. We love our rainbow kids. Because you know what they're teaching us? They're teaching us that love is love. and it has no identity. It has no definition between male and feminine, masculine and feminine. It is just one. And our kids that are being born right now are literally androgynous. They don't care whether you call them a boy or a girl. They don't care what body parts they have. They just know how they feel. And we are looking at them in awe and saying, yep, this is it. This is the change. Love is the change. So you renegades, you powerful souls that have come to be homosexual, I salute you, because you are the groundbreakers of this energy. And you are teaching all of those families that are in that judgment that love is love. And as that turns into transgender and androgyny and asexual, then you know what? We're just one big happy family again. And that is where we're moving. So you are part of the change. Everything that you've wanted inside, that the society has told you that was bad, is you get to play with that energy now. You get to be you. You get to be completely authentic in that. You get to celebrate that. So gender is going to be a very fast forward button for us, because you know what? When all of us can move into an unconditional love, we can't be in unconditional love and fear at the same time. Therefore, all the systems will break. So believe it or not, you being born different gave your parents the opportunity to wake up. And therefore, you have created that ripple effect on the planet that helps everyone move back into unconditional love without limits. Unconditional love. Now, the education system has to change, because we're still teaching our kids lies, and we're leaving out huge amounts of real history that are important. Like Tesla. Where is he in our books? The new energy? It's not new, is it? Literally, you have enough energy moving through your entire system right now to light up 10 suns. And we need gas for a car? No. So we need to introduce all these truths again. We need to introduce our ancients. We need to bring back our medicinal medicines. We need to bring back all of our agriculture, our permaculture, things that are not in school. I will definitely be pioneering that, probably on this property. I have a very, 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 very big desire to work with kids, because you know what? They're a lot easier than you guys are. They don't have those belief systems that they can't do it. I give them a little tool and they go, yep, got it, done. They just need that quick little reminder and that little tiny bit of support. So the education system will be my priority number one after we get this land developed. And I encourage you, anyone who's watching this that has any interest in doing that with me, to please write in, because this needs to be an international cause. And I know there is a lot of great schools out there, and they're opening and they're being developed, but what we need to do is we need to get even past the mundane curriculum of the past, ideas of how we educated our children, and get back into life mastery. Self-awareness, how to be human. No manual, right? It takes us 30 years to figure out what the heck we're doing here. Kids can do it in about 3 years. By age 7, a child should be able to levitate, bend a spoon with its mind, manifest its own destiny, heal its body. That's the power of not buying into collective agreement. Unlimited power. So education will be at the threshold of where the change is coming from. And there's enough parents who have kids that are not being taught correctly, and the kids won't be taught the way that our schools are being taught. They will not. They are protesting. They are causing the breakdown inside the education system. So we are being forced to come up with new ways of teaching. And we will. Because it's basically very simple. It is very simple. It is a curriculum that's based in cause and effect. That's it. You can create anything you choose. Here are your tools. Let's change the planet. It's going to happen fast. When we get into the education system, it's going to be like a fast forward button. Now, whether that happens first or the financial system crashes, that's going to be determined based on that fear thermometer. So I ask you every day when you wake up, where is your fear thermometer? If it's high, you are not contributing to the change. That's going to be one more year for you to have to deal with money. So start with yourselves, start with your kids, start with your bodies, start with your belief systems. It's really a full-time job, isn't it? So you can mind your own business. That would be a good idea. Because you got enough going on, right? We know how hard it is to just change one thing about ourselves, let alone spend our entire eternity trying to fix our spouse. Doesn't happen. The change is within. So it will be our gender and our education system that is actually going to pioneer the food, the money, and the oil. Because I promise you, the food system is going to crash because of the kids. The kids can't eat that food anymore. It's like a Ferrari versus a pickup truck. You gotta feed high-performance fuel. The kids say no. My 3-year-old will pick a piece of chicken out of a plate and throw it across the room. That's pretty authentic, don't you think? I'm not eating that. Got it. Yes.
As we're talking about kids, I'm curious about so many of the middle school to high school generation that's kind of isolated themselves and want to be isolated with their video games. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where do they end up moving into?
They're so smart.
They are extremely smart, but the isolation, I'm curious about that. How do they go from wanting to be isolated to like loving to be around people?
Let's look at that energy as a form of cocooning. Thank you. My throat chakra is being worked on today. They don't care about the world's problems. They don't care how you feel. They don't believe in any of it. The only thing that they believe is what they can create through their video games because it's their way to be in charge. And they will isolate until the new world comes, and then they will bring their genius to the threshold. I guarantee you, the ones that are locked downstairs in grandma's basement right now, gaming 18 hours a day, that's going to be our game changers in 15 years. They're going to be the ones writing code, changing energy systems, and the only reason why is they don't buy into any of this. Is that bad? No. Let them be. Let them be, because you know what they are? They're getting to create their own reality through a virtual viewpoint. And through that, they are still part of the shift. Because anytime you are using mind, body, and soul to create, you are creating in a positive way. And I can guarantee you, you ask one of those gamers what their highest joy is, and it's gaming. So they're in their highest joy, why are you not in yours? Who are we to judge what brings them joy right now? I'm promising you, the ones that are isolating right now, let them be, because there is magic within them. And they are waiting for their time and their genius to show up when the world is ready. It's not easy for them either. They have no choice. Isolation is a must because they just can't agree. So let them be, because I promise you in 15 years they'll make you proud. You'll be like, where have you been? Wow! You had all this up here? Yeah, and I did it from my computer. Because technology is going to be extremely important in the future. It's extremely important now. What did we do without the internet? What did we do without smartphones? How did we exist? So can you imagine what it will look like, technology on this planet, in about 2 years? Systems that are being developed underground right now, the technology that's being downloaded. One question that I do want to answer, because no one's asked it yet, is I get the question of when is disclosure? Does anybody want to know? It's already
I want to
happened.
know.
Disclosure has already happened. If you haven't heard about it, it's because you have fear of it. We are walking and talking with our alien friends and our star families right now. They are amongst us. They are here. Disclosure happened when your back was turned, worrying about your phone bill. How do you think we have the technology on this planet that we have? How do you think we have all the ancient medicine back? Who's brought it? Because ego is not smart enough to remember any of that. It's happened. And as you move out of your personal state of fear, you will see the ships flying. You will wake up and there will be in your room like, hey, how's it going? Because they are. And then they've been here since about 2013, walking the streets with you. There's hybrid children. So it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of when for you. When are you going to be out of fear enough to raise your frequency to the 6th dimension where they reside and see them walking next to you? Because they're here. And they help me every day with all of you. Does anybody have any other questions? Yes?
Can we meet them?
Ask yourself this. If you went to the zoo and you went up to the lion's cage, right? And the glass is there. You would love and appreciate that lion, wouldn't you? But if the gate came down, how would you feel? First thought. Terrified. So my question is when can you meet them? Because it's one thing of wanting to see something, and there's another thing than it being right here, and ancient fear that you carry within you will be triggered like PTSD you've never felt before. Because some of them aren't cute. Some of them don't look like fairies. So, what are you afraid of? Because the more secret fears that you have within you is like a spiritual blindness. Fear is the only spiritual blindness that you will ever have. As you let go of fear, you're going to be walking and talking and seeing and feeling 6 different dimensions right now. And as we integrate the 4th and the 5th dimension right now into our being, that gives us room now to see the 6th and 7th. And that is the earth game, by the way, is to integrate all the way into the 7th dimension and become light again. Because at the 6th dimensional state, we still like to take a form sometimes. We still like to have a body of some type. But as we move into 7, we will be basically just light. And that is the name of this game. And the only thing that's holding you back from your own personal evolution is the low density energy. The fear, the grief, the pain, the shame, the guilt, the resentment, the humiliation that you carry in your heart is the only spiritual blindness you have right now. Because I promise you, if you worked on one of those every single day, you would start becoming clairvoyant, clairaudio, clairsentient, telepathic. And all of a sudden, you would see down the street that it's not just humans walking around. It's like a big old party of the universe now out there. And they're here to assist us. But if you're afraid of yourself, do you think you're going to see an alien? Or if you're afraid of yourself, are you going to see a good one? Does that answer your question? Does anybody have any last questions? Yes?
I'm moving into transparency. It's an awesome place. But it's interesting, I'm one of the star seeds in the federal government. And when
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
We appreciate you.
It does take a strong soul to do that.
Yes.
I've been drawn to several other bright lights that are with me in the federal government. The thing that's interesting right now is when I step back and I start saying, who am I? You know, what is my identity really? I think that when I think about I'm in the federal government and I'm in this job, there's just a big question mark to me. Because, and I'll be grateful for the moment because like you said 3 things and in my head I heard lots of cuss words which tell me I'm shifting soon to go to those directions. But it's like, there has to be an integration between staying where I'm at as the start seed, the really bright light is starting to blind people in part of where I work.
Good.
And being drawn to the other things that are now opening up to me for my true identity and transparency.
Yep.
I don't know if there's no question, it's just like, I needed to be able to say that, so is there a question there that I'm asking that I don't know?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying, should I stay there and be the light in the government, or can I go play? Is that what you're saying? Do I have to stay there and be the light, or can I go play?
Because I know both are the highest joys. It's just one doesn't feel like it because it's been something else for so long.
Which one doesn't feel like it?
Well, the federal government.
So go where you feel better. It's really got to be that simple. You know, you've given the government a lot of your life. You're allowed to move on. And that is the thing, is third law of creation is change is inevitable. If your life has not changed over the last year, I feel sorry for you. Because you are staying in that fearful rut of change. Because you should be riding the wave of new opportunity right now. And you know what? It's opportunity that has no identity. It's just a feeling, isn't it? You're like, I know there's something out there. I know. We met a guy last night at the party who has literally decided that he's going to sell all of his things, quit his job, and move to Hawaii. And with the money from selling his car, he's going to buy a machete so he can eat when he gets there. And I don't mean animals, I mean fruit. I was like, you're my new idol. I love you. Like, that's amazing. And I'm hearing those stories all the time about people who are just letting go and having no clue of where they're going or how it's going to be, but just being led by their souls. I promise you, it knows the way. It knows the shortcuts, it knows the people, it knows the codes. It will get you there faster. But again, it's about letting go in order to get it all. So letting go of the identity of who you've been and what you've given is also important. Because we tend to hold on to our possessions, we tend to hold on to our successes in the past. We hold on to our degrees. Well, I couldn't go do this because I spent all this money at school doing this. But that's not your heart's desire. You could have gone to school to be a doctor and you end up being a farmer. Who knows? Doctor means teacher. Farmers are teachers. There you go. You have to go in the direction of your bliss in this now, and you have to let fear come up as you move forward. And you deal with it like a lost, hurt child. That's it. Your fear that comes up in front of you, just love it. Just love it. I just need to love you, integrate you, turn you back into light, and then I can accelerate. So you know the answer, Jen. You got it. All right, well, I want to wrap this part. I have 2 other things that I would like to share with you guys before we wrap today. I'm having a very emotional mommy moment today because about a year ago when we opened Transcendence, my idea was to have a life coaching certification program for people to come and learn basically how to assist others through their journey back home. So it wasn't going to be traditional therapy type of counseling. It was going to be basically professionals who know how to walk the journey so that they can walk with you when you're scared and alone. Because I know that I needed that when I was on my journey. And I was lucky enough to have my meditations and my guides and my ET friends who helped me along this journey. But I know not everybody has that. So what better than to have a teacher or a coach or a friend, someone to help you along your way and remind you of who you are when you get lost. And we started with 12 people in this group, and it's intense. Because basically what we're doing is we're healing our inner child as we move through the curriculum. And we're healing our shadows as we learn about shadows. And we're learning and healing fear as we learn about where it comes from. So everyone who has made it through this program has literally dived down into the hell of themselves and looked in the mirror. Because they need to show you what that looks like when you show up at their office. They've been there. Their lives have crumbled and rebuilt over the program. Jobs have been lost, relationships have changed. And through this process, basically what they did was they are moving from being spiritual to authentic to transparent. Because when they're transparent, now they can be your mirror. That is the goal of a life coach here at Transcendence, is to be completely a mirror for you. And to only show you that being of light within. So over the course of this year, we have 4 graduates. And I could not be more proud of these 4 amazing people, individually and collectively as a team we've become. And without them, we would not have been able to open the second center, because they are actually going to run the other center now as practitioners and partners of Transcendence Wellness Center. And I want to kind of talk about each one of them a little bit, because I can guarantee you that some part of them will resonate with you. Karsten. When Karsten came to me, he was working in a corporate job, and he is an absolute genius. He was not seen and heard at his job for the genius that he had within him. And as we moved through this coaching program, about halfway, he showed up one day and said, "I quit my job." And I was like, "Okay." And he literally jumped off the cliff and got his wings on the way down. And has had to look at himself in the mirror instead of looking at that boss or looking at the family. And he has thrived. And he has flourished. And he has become an amazing life coach. Amber. When Amber first came to us, she came when we first opened Transcendence, and she started taking workshops. And so it was kind of natural for her to take the life coaching certification program. And within a few months, her entire life, what did you call it?
360.
Basically, her job, her relationship, and her home was taken. She left her relationship, she lost her home, and she lost her job. But the thing is she was asking the universe for joy. I want joy. So the universe has to take away everything that's standing in your way of that. And the relationship wasn't joyful, and the job wasn't feeding her soul, and the home wasn't where she really wanted to be. So she got her sea legs, and she completely rebuilt the life that she wanted and that she deserved. and now is actually going to partner with Transcendence and work with us as a team in writing all of our curriculum for all of our workshops, writing our blogs, and helping us get our stories out into the world. So I thank you. Vanessa, what can I say about Vanessa? Holy crap. Vanessa is what I call the North Star. She's a triple threat. There isn't anything that this girl can't do. You've seen her sing. She's gorgeous, she's amazing. And when she first came to Transcendence, she was in a relationship and she was having a normal life, and she realized that she wasn't able to be herself in her life, and so she made a big change. And she made the leap just like Karsten did and ripped off the Band-Aid, and we all kind of went, and she has flourished, and she has prospered, and she has finished. And she also has a master's degree in what?
I have a bachelor's in psychology and I'm finishing my master's in mental health.
Finishing her master's in mental health counseling.
In her free time.
In her free time of being a mother and a life coach and running Transcendence and writing music and turning vegan overnight. So she's had a ton of life changes, and she is a fantastic life coach. A session with her will guarantee you some tears. I know I had one. Colton? Oh, these are my kids here. Except you remember, you was my sister. When Colton came, he sat down in my chair, and I had never seen such a wide solar plexus energy field in my entire life. It was about 21 feet out. And he was a little clog right here in his throat. He was having a hard time expressing his genius. And he had a life coaching certification from another amazing program that he did in Hawaii. And he came and basically got some tools that he could add to his toolbox. And one day asked to present a slideshow of something he was working on in his spare time, and it ended up being about argon energy. And literally, I had goosebumps over my entire body at what he has developed at his young age with technology and energy and raising the vibration of your home, of your body, which he will be bringing to the world very soon through Transcendence, but also his own company called PI, which is, what is it code for?
Positive impact.
Positive impact. PI. So this is my team, along with Susie and Al and all of our amazing people that have joined with us this year. And we are going to do nothing but become more transparent and become more of service and be more of ourselves. So I wanted to actually present them their certificates today, because they are moving over to the other location to start treating and working with everyone and running that treatment division over there. So I am just honored and thrilled. Okay, so first we have Vanessa.
I have been living for other people for as long as I can remember. Being a mother was one of those reasons, you know, you put your kids first. You want them to have the life you never had, and you want them to have everything that you feel like they deserve, so you're always giving little bits of yourself, and there's nothing really left in there, because that word's selfish. You know, I don't want to be selfish, you know. What I gained in coming to Transcendence was that permission slip of actually being selfish in a good way. I grew. I grew in such a way that helped me gain my personal power back. I left a relationship that I was miserable in. I was afraid to leave it because it was comfortable. It was like, okay, I'm going to be taken care of. But I wasn't. I was alone. I didn't like who I was becoming. So I took the leap. I left the relationship. I dove into my passion. I was able to start living my dreams again and working towards them, because it was something that I put off to the wayside. And it was through my transformation with Transcendence that I realized being in that helping seat is where I needed to be. And I had always been going through it for my psychology degree, but it wasn't resonating with me the way it should. So I resonated with what Transcendence was doing, and I want to share that just as they shared it with me, and empower you, and empower mothers that feel like they can't be themselves, or they can't be that selfish word. You know, you have to fill your cup up so you can give with your overflow. So what I love to do is work with women and empowering women and giving them that personal power back. And I just want to thank Susie and Jessica for everything that you guys have offered me in this 6 months of just, it's been, my world is completely different. The people I've surrounded myself with are just so authentic and loving and real, and I'm okay with leaving the past I had behind and moving into the future that I have with Transcendence.
Okay, Amber.
Okay, well,
Congratulations.
where do I begin? I was this. I was raised in the quintessential American family. I was given everything I needed, a good education, loving parents. So on the surface, it was wonderful. But I had this need to be perfect. And I bought into what my church told me and what my school told me, and it completely changed who I was. I wasn't myself. And I didn't really figure that out until I went through a divorce. And as I'm sure many of you in this room have been through similar changes, it causes you to really reevaluate your life and figure out, who am I? What do I want? How do I trust the world again? How do I trust myself again? And along with my divorce, I had been kind of searching spiritually. What do I believe? Where do I want to be? And a lot of books. I read tons and tons of books. And I'd always been searching for a physical place where I could come learn from other people. I found places online, but I knew that my type of learning required actual physical interaction. And then one day, back in 2014, I came across Miss Susie and Miss Jessica at the local PRS fair, and that set me on a trajectory that changed my world. So I came here, and like Jess said, I started taking classes, and it took all of these things in my life that I was passionate about, energy and spirituality and psychology, and it just really kind of gave me an intersection and a place to put it all together and have it all make sense and give it a holistic standpoint. And I did go through some major life changes. I walked away from a career of 16 years in corporate America. It was not where I wanted to be. It wasn't why I was put on this planet. My true passion is writing. So I left that career to help Jess and Susie. And over the course of leaving that career, within a week, my relationship ended. And I no longer had a home. So I didn't have a job, I didn't have a home, and I didn't have a man. Yeah. But the girls had already given me a great foundation to believe in myself and to trust that everything happens exactly as it's supposed to be. And so while my family and friends were all freaking out on my behalf, this wonderful Zen-like feeling kind of came over me. And I moved through the changes in probably about a month and a half, 2 months.
Oh, it was like 30 days you had it together? Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember. That's how, I'm not attached to it. But got a new home, new job, and everything's good. So, and met all these wonderful friends here. So I'm sure I'll be calling all of you friends soon too. So.
Thank you, Amber. So, Colton, tell us a little bit about you.
So I see the energy, I see the changes in the community and the environment, and I had a strong urgency to go and make a difference, go do something, go change. I was alone, completely alone, had nobody that really resonated with me until I met Transcendence. And as soon as I came in, I was invited to her. I came to a second Sunday discipline, and I had that inner voice, that intuition, that Holy Spirit inside of me saying, "This is your home. These are your people." And I quickly found out how powerful everybody in this community is, extremely powerful. And I'm really excited to be a part of it and to help teach it to the people that aren't aware of it or how to access it. And I'm learning very quickly. It's in the heart. Limitless is in the heart. We're all connected in the heart. We just got to separate our ego and move away from that.
We're there.
Open, yeah. And so I'm really excited.
Awesome. Our standard. He's excited.
All right, I'll sit this here
Okay, so you might move and dance and sing.
because I want to.
You can tell he's gonna work with children, yes?
It's hard to imagine me actually being up here now. I never saw myself actually getting into a place and being comfortable speaking in front of people. I was very quiet growing up, and I was in a corporate job. I was following my dad's orders, or his dream, his goal, is to get a very good education and be a supportive member of something that I just wasn't sure on. So I really wanted his love and his support so much. And the way I saw that I could really get that was through being just the most studious student that I could imagine. So getting an electrical engineering degree with almost a perfect 4.0 GPA, and I still was lacking that. Where's the love? I was just trying. So I went into the job, and then that's when it dawned on me, it's like, I'm gonna have to do this for myself. I can't wait on someone else to fill me up and say, you did it. Like, it was just such a, oh, you're here, now you gotta deal with our stuff. Because their processes wasn't really in alignment. It's like, it's a great idea, but our processes were like this. So that's great, but it can't be you. That was enforced over and over at this job. And when I came to Transcendence, I just got that awakening to really become more of who I was. I had all these teachers been into spirituality with Eckhart Tolle, really changed my world. Reading his books, my sister gave me that, and just totally opened up me to this idea. It's just so much more meaningful and powerful to be around people and show them the way out. That my story doing this can help you as well. So now I'm here. I've been a gymnastics coach and a math tutor for 10 years. So I want to help with kids. I love being around them. I love their energy. I love their willingness to do this really fast. So that's and Jessica's vision with the education, I'm huge with that, because if they get to learn how to think for themselves and make their own decisions and learn that they are their own creators at a very young age, I mean, they're going to be so powerful. Once they're able to realize that they can do anything they want. If we keep giving them that message, then they won't have to doubt themselves. We have all this trouble because we've just been brought up in this system where it's like, you can't be you. So I'm being me, and I want to share that with everyone.
And the really best part of it for me and Susie is that we're learning from this group right here. Like, I watch them and I am mind blown about the ideas that start flowing through you when you become authentic. And the genius that starts to move into present time is just ridiculous. And I am inspired, and I have become a student of these four amazing people every single day. And it's an amazing process to first lead and then learn. And we'll continue to do this life coaching certification group because it has basically built new families, and it's allowing people to change the world. I always say, if you help one person and they go help 5, the world will change overnight. So our job is to take what we've learned from our spiritual journeys and go live it. and go be the example of who you are inside. And in the idea of facing fear, I'm going to share with you guys a kind of affirmational poem that I wrote yesterday in my car at Target on paper. Very elegant. But it was such an overwhelming flow that was coming from my heart that I literally sat in the Target parking lot and started writing this affirmational poem. And I've never written a poem in my life, so if it sucks, don't tell me. Let me think it's good. And this is my new 365 days of facing fear affirmation. Is that I'm going to share it with you guys and hopefully not stumble over my words. And hopefully you'll get the message, because I kind of wrote it for all of us as we are children. And I just really want to share it with you before we wrap today. It's just a couple of minutes. So, and I have a song, and I want to share something while he's getting the song ready. It's this particular song. I don't know if you have any Enya fans out there, but this Enya song that I played for myself probably about 7 years ago when I started my journey would take me into a trance in about 3 seconds as soon as I would hear the music. So there was something very, very resonant about that particular song for me. And for some reason, when I started listening to this song while I was reading the poem this morning, it fit perfectly. Wake up, my child. It's time to rise. Stretch your arms. Wipe your eyes. Walk home with me through the dark. Don't be afraid. You are the spark. Hold my hand and take a breath. Exhale, my love, until there's nothing left. Your heart, little one, is the seat of the soul. This is your essence, and you're in control. Bring your thoughts back to the present moment. This is your power, and it's time to own it. Let go of the anchors and beliefs of the past. We are walking into heaven that will forever us last. We are not alone on this journey of one. It's time to play and remember the fun. You are the second coming, the rebirth of Christ. Let go of ego, who's ever for entice. Stand in your heart when the darkness comes. Remember deep down there is only but one. You are allowed to cry, grieve, scream and yell. Stress from the memories, let go of the hell. Purify your soul with Mother Earth's gentle rain. The only way home is straight through the pain. Let Father Son remind you of strength and power. This is our hour. I am safe in this body. I am safe to be me. I am fearless and steady like the big redwood tree. I am rooted down deep. I can weather the storm. Within the power of love, it is all beginning to form. These feelings run through me so I can shine my light. I am like a star in the darkest night. I am safe in the mirror I call the universe. I am safe from myself, which is you in reverse. I am a child of God, and I am protected. I am here to serve others who have been needlessly neglected. I am love, I am light, and I am safe now to surrender the fight. First poem ever, sorry if it sucked. Thank you guys so much for coming. I love being able to bring my heart to this group once a month and share it all with you, amazing pioneers. And be yourself. Move through that authentic phase. And push yourself because you deserve it. Love yourself because that's the only way out. And when you're lost, just find each other. I love you all. Thank you so much for coming.